Hello, today, guess what? Another replay analysis. This time we're going to look at Iridial here, Iridiel, I don't know. Shadow Shaman here. I think this is Herald 7, something like that. So this time I'm not going to focus so much on, like, overall game plan, because, in the nicest way possible, at this MMR, like, things don't always go as they should. So the easiest thing to focus on at this point is like personal improvement, making sure you make the least mistakes. But having said that, you still need like an overall sense of a game plan for at least yourself. So what Shadow Shaman wants to do is get his ult as quickly as he can. I mean, most supports do want to hit 6 quickly, but Shadow Shaman in particular, really good to have Mass Serpent Ward pretty quickly because it's such a long cooldown. The sooner you can use it and get it going, the better. So what you want to do, try to hit 6 either by having a great laning phase for whatever reason, by pulling, whatever you have to do, buy the tome at 10 minutes, uh, whatever it is, you want to hit 6 quickly, and then you want to ult your tower, the enemy tower, as quickly as you can, and kind of just repeat that, getting all the towers. So we're going to see how that goes. And taking a look at item build, this is all good, these top items. Um, Clarities, you don't want. Uh, your mana pool, kind of large. Your attack range, kind of short. I'm sorry, not your mana pool. Your mana cost of your spells is pretty large, which might be why you're thinking you want clarities, but mangoes are going to be better for you. They give you less mana, but because clarities take 50 seconds, and if you get attacked, they get canceled. And if you look at their lineup, you got a Weaver, you got a Pango. They're probably who you're against in the offlane. Um, Maybe Dark Willow's there. She's got a long range. This guy's got a long range spell. This guy runs in Shikuchi's, invis on you, auto attacks, also ranged. Very easy to break clarities. You have a short auto attack range, so you want to be, you're going to be pretty close, constantly fighting or auto attacking, whether it's denying, harassing. It's pretty hard for you to get a clarity going for 50 seconds, let alone 2 clarities. And then the reason I manage the mana cost is because, say you get a kill opportunity coming up, right? You don't have time to like sit there in clarity and hope like, oh, wait, guys, let me clarity up, let me do it. If an opportunity pops up, you gotta mango really quickly, and then you'll be able to shackle, you'll be able to hex, whatever you need. Um, so for this starting items, I would say you want, if you sold this, you'd have 160 gold. You could get 2 mangoes. I would say maybe 1 mango, 1 sentry, because you're probably against Weaver, and you want to be able to see where he Shikuchis. So that's probably what I would recommend. We'll get going here. The reason I can't even go into like game plan, I don't even know what lanes you guys are gonna do. Right, this is typical like 4 carries, 1 support kind of deal. You kind of have to get through. I mean, Bounty Hunter's kind of a support. Maybe Dark Willow and Pango's the 4, Weaver's the 4. I don't know, but it's hard to like explain out a game plan when like it's so unclear.
30 seconds to battle.
Starting Q is okay. It's pretty good to harass. Pretty good to secure range creeps. I wouldn't put the point in quite yet because Wraith King is the kind of hero who can get a kill pretty early. Between his stun, like his stun is only 8-second cooldown. Shackle lasts 2.75 seconds. So he stuns for, let's okay. This is what I mean. It's so hard to predict. Say he had started stun. Um, he stuns for 1.1 second and then slows, right? So let's say he's going on someone, he stuns them. You guys auto attack a bit, and then you chase a bit while it slows, and they try to run a little bit, and then you shackle. And your shackle 2.75 seconds, level 1. So between 1.1 second of stun, 2 seconds of slow, roughly 3 seconds of shackle, 8-second cooldown on. Oh, I forgot they nerfed it. 14 seconds. Alright, it's a lot longer than I thought. Remove everything I just said. I look like an idiot. I'm a fool. But I still kind of stand by what I said. Shackle and stun, pretty good. And, 6 seconds left on stun instead of having it again right away at that point. Um, but it's still pretty good. Um, and yeah, maybe you still want to start Ether Shock, but that's why it's kind of good to hold the point a little bit. I don't like this because you have a ward. Um, Maybe I would have given the ward to mid, but since you're going to bring it to the safe lane, you want to place it. Well, two things. You don't want them to know where their wards are, where your wards are, right? Because it can be two wards in any of these three lanes, so maybe your ward won't have a lane. Your lane won't have a ward, but now they know you do. So what you want to do if you're going to have a ward is place it out of sight. If you want to place it here, you want to like run to these trees, place it. If you want to place it, like over here, you're going to run over here, place it here. Run through here, place it here. You want to try to do it out of sight. You don't want them to know where your ward is. And what you've done right now is just kind of like walk into sight, and now they know you have a ward. And you might hold on to it till you're out of sight and then place it. But they know it's down here now, and there's only like so many places you can put it. But not the biggest deal.
Okay, make with the kill.
All right, so in that time, you were taking a look up here. This guy shouldn't necessarily have walked in on his own, but if you're gonna look top, you need to at least click the heroes to see what they have. Same with Dark Willow, you saw her and you didn't click her. This guy kind of just walked in on his own. That's not your fault exactly, but try to like have the presence of mind, or like when you're looking up here, keep an eye on the mini map. Like you want to walk up with him if he's gonna do that. And you definitely don't need to walk up now and place that. I don't like that because that's like directly in their line of sight. Like you were right here, she's looking at you and sees you place it. But also, what does this ward do for you exactly? They don't have someone like Spirit Breaker in this game. Seeing Spirit Breaker go between lanes or like come in, that's very important. But that's not who's in this game, right? You want this ward like somewhere here to spot the pull, or to see where they're hiding in these trees, somewhere down here, somewhere here. Having it here doesn't really do much for you. You spot the rune, sure, but like, how often are they gonna have a hero in this area in the first 5 minutes? Not really a lot. So I wouldn't recommend that ward spot. I would much rather you have it place it somewhere over here. Grabbing your rune. You just want to like get out as quickly as you can. They've got 3 people here, 2 right next to you. This guy's really low. I do like that you use your Q, get your mana regen going, get some damage, but just immediately, like, maybe use it on her up here or something, and then just run away right away. And like all this changing directions, they're getting like free auto attacks off on you. And you've lost a good amount of health already. This guy's already had to salve. Don't block the creeps. You're going to see it. Yeah. What's going to happen here, the creeps are going to die because the tower is hitting them, and your lane is going to push, which is really rough for you as a safe laner. You really want to avoid that. In general, don't block when you're the safe lane. You can if you know they're going to block, and that's why having a ward up here would be good to see where their creeps are. But because they didn't block like at all, and you blocked even just a little bit, now their creeps have entered your tower. If no one blocks the creeps, it meets like right here, which is just outside of tower, which is honestly a little close, a little closer than I would like. I want it to meet like slightly further up here even, because when they're right here, it's really easy for them to like pull aggro, and then these creeps end up walking into tower anyways. So definitely don't block and get this to happen. I'm not... Well, I will explain it now, because actually I think we will see the results of this. What's going to happen, these are all going to die, right? Your creeps, most of them are probably going to survive. It's going to push up, and it's going to meet the next creep wave here, and your creep wave is going to be like here. And then they will either their creep wave will die first and give you guys level 2, but then immediately go under their tower safely for them, and let them farm up these creeps and not let you take advantage of your level 2, or they are going to kill your entire creep wave somehow faster than you are, and they're going to have the ability to be level 2 and you guys aren't if you don't clear out their creep wave at the same time. But the problem is if you kill their creep wave, then it pushes to their tower. So this is like good for them either way. And now we're gonna see, like, let's see if that happens. That's kind of weird. This is the case where, like, if you had shackle or he had stun, right? He was under tower. Just like shackle and stun. All these creep waves, all these creeps eventually die in that time, maybe, or maybe it aggroed him a bit. You know, that would probably be a kill under his tower. That's where it's kind of good to save it. But actually, you did use this earlier, so you probably wouldn't have had it. I would have understood you getting this level 1 to trade with Dark Willow or something, so not a big deal. Maybe he felt safe to do that because he knew you didn't have it. Who knows? This is where you want the sentry and place it like early so you can see him run to you. You like stayed there auto attacking because you didn't know where he was Shikuchiing. If you have a sentry, then you can avoid that, like, essentially free damage for him, right? You couldn't do anything. If you have a sentry, even if he hits you, you can at least auto attack and like Q him something, and get that trade. And you definitely want to be like tangoing, which you will now. Tango this tree actually, if you can help it. This is like a tree wall to prevent you from running through. You want to break this one because all of these are like too wide otherwise. This is the only single tree. So like imagine you're like on this side it's easier, right? You either like walk this way or you have to like walk all the way this way. And if they're both here hitting you, like this could be enough time to get a kill. But if you cut this tree, you can like easily walk in between really quickly, trade, and then like run back into the safety of your tower. So cutting this tree is really important. It gives you a lot more like options. You're kind of far back now because you're low and a bit scared. This is kind of like you finally went up, but it was like when the creep wave died and you're taking, I mean, you're not taking too much damage here, but it's more than you need to. Like any damage is more damage than you want, especially when you're still regenning, and there's like no need to. Like, what do you achieve from this, you know? Ask yourself that a lot when you're considering where you're putting yourself in the lane. Like, what am I getting out of this? And just walking up here to be near Wraith King, it's good to be near him, right? But you can be like in these trees or something. Try not to line up against this guy either, or against Shikuchi. They're just getting a lot of damage for free, zoning you guys out. You're scared to trade because you've been low this whole time. Okay, you get a sentry. That's good. Try to put your sentry in the tree. That would be a better spot for it. Like, you came out to place it and you took damage from a lot of the creeps. That was kind of unnecessary. Like, you don't need to get this down right now, especially when the creep wave is pushing into you. Just, like, stay in the tower. He won't Shikuchi to you. Play it safe while this pushes into you. And then when you do place it, try to place it in the trees so it's just a little bit harder to find. You know, if they place their sentry, like, they don't have one right now, I don't think. But later, if they figure out you have a sentry and they want to deward it, they place their sentry outside, you might have the chance to take their sentry because yours is hidden in the trees. And the time it takes for them to come find it, you get theirs. Maybe they place theirs in the trees too, you don't know. But just give yourself like that little bit of advantage, you know, hide yours a little bit. And it'll cover pretty much the same thing, right? If you look at what this sentry is covering, is going into these trees, which isn't that helpful for you. So if you placed it over here, it would still cover like all of this. Is this guy gonna die now too? Yeah, that's not your fault necessarily. Technically, because you died, he's then in a position to die, but he should just like back off a bit once you died. Taking a lot of damage for free here. When you run in circles, you know? Oops, sorry. Either run in circles or like pull them all the way back, because right now you came in here full health. You're at half now. You know, that was a lot. Just like run in circles, make them chase you instead of just being free to auto attack you as quickly as they can. Back up a bit, make them run in between auto attacks. instead of being like here, you'd be like maybe here-ish, you know, if you had kited a bit better. And you can still get those like last hits you got. Turn around when you need to attack, you know. Um, and then once your creeps are here, de-aggro. These range creeps continue to hit you, and bad for two reasons. One, you take damage. Naturally, that's bad. But also, you want them to damage your creeps so that you know, your creeps are more likely to die, and you can try to bring this situation back under control. Because right now, this tower is going to kill all these creeps, and your lane is going to push again. Whereas if these two range creeps had started to attack a melee creep, maybe it gets low enough for you to then deny, and then like maybe these guys get low enough and you can deny. Like every little bit helps. So try to kite and then de-aggro as quickly as you can. Probably could have killed him if you got the shackle, but that's a little... It's hard to coordinate these things. I don't blame you. Boots first is good. A wand or a magic stick would probably also be good. Weaver uses Shikuchi a lot. Pango uses Q a lot. Sometimes W if he gets it. I don't think he necessarily should, but they both use spells, is what I'm saying, and a pretty decent rate of usage too. So magic stick is pretty good. Okay. Free kill for you guys. You might die. You want to tango right away. Tango? Tango? See how you're like chasing and like you don't have the mana, so you try to use a clarity, but like it's gonna take forever, right? So this is an example of when a mango is superior. And he didn't hit you though, so now you are regenerating a lot. But I still think like a mango would be better. This isn't great. Well, it's actually like okay, but this is the ward you should have placed first instead of like this one. Now you have two wards bottom, and like this is good for you. But it's also a little scary because if he gets a sentry too, you know, this is very easily dewarded if they place it anywhere here. So maybe like somewhere up here where it's a little less likely to be dewarded from a sentry in this area. But this should have been your first ward instead of this one. Pretty good for you. Keep moving. I'm not sure what happened, misclick, or maybe you were looking at items or something. Keep running. Run through these trees, you know? Make him look for you. You can break vision with this stuff. You can see all of this because you have this ward. He doesn't necessarily see all of this. And if you do, like, hide behind this tree to break vision, here, I'll play it slowly, and we can, and let's watch it from Weaver's perspective, actually. Play it a little slower. See, you actually see, you did break vision here, and then you ran back out into his sight, and he had auto-attacked you. You know, cut into here, cut through here, you probably won't live, because he'll probably Shikuchi and chase you down. You're kind of far out. But you'll take up more time. You, like, ran back out and, like, died for free against him. What is this item build? This is not great. But it's not about him. It's about you. You might have been looking at items and trying to buy something out pretty quickly. I recommend try to have something on your hotbar at all times then, in that sense, you know? Magic Stick, Windlace, Raindrops, those would all be good laning items. You could have wards queued up. Anything for you to like quick buy, there's a hotkey for it. I don't remember what the default is, but you know, set it to whatever you want. I use some mouse buttons for it. But if you do that, then you don't have to like spend time looking for something while you're dying. But no big deal. You died. He died. It's kind of okay for you. Weaver took a lot of damage too. When you're dead, try to take a look at the other lanes too. You know, take a look at what's happening. These guys, maybe they're low, you know, and maybe they're pushing into this tower. Maybe you're able to do something top. Maybe mid needs you or something. So when you're dead and not doing anything, try to like take a peek, see what's going on in the world, you know. Yeah, you're kiting a bit better here. That's good. Yeah, that's okay. Harassing. I mean, that's not your fault, but he overlaps. What a guy. He definitely would have escaped in other means, in other cases where, because he overlapped his stun so heavily, he was going to get away. This guy gets a super lucky crit on his last hit, kills him. You want to avoid overlap as much as possible, although that wasn't your fault there. Hex this guy, okay. This guy. Saving your ass. This was good. You were running into trees, and then you, like, came back out. I don't know if that was a misclick, but definitely run into those trees. And, I'm not sure why you popped Clarity. Maybe you felt like, oh, I don't have enough mana, I need to use Clarity. Another case for having mangoes, right? If you mangoed there, you would have it enough to Ether Shock and kill him. Luckily, this guy saved you with another lucky hit. But since it's a Clarity, I think that was a bit of a panic Clarity, because really, if this guy had kept going, he would have canceled that immediately, and that's 50 gold down the drain. Another case, another reason, I mean, that's just the natural like ups and downs of a Clarity, right? If you take damage, it gets canceled. And that's why it's hard in the laning phase, because you're taking a lot of damage, and it's usually better as the laning phase dies out. And mangoes are better for that laning phase. But definitely run through these trees, eat something with this tango, and like kite around in circles if this guy didn't just die right here. Don't walk back out.
Double kill.
But works out for you. Tango something though. You're so low. Tango something. This is good. Getting the runes. Hopefully you checked the time and saw that. If someone else said it in your team, I mean, that works out too, but try to be the guy who remembers it. It's really good to do. Call to your team at like 4:30. Tell them, hey, runes are about to be up. This lane's going well for you, so I'm kind of okay with this. But if the lane was going worse, be careful of rushing arcanes right away. You know, you have 4 empty slots. Even when you get the arcanes, it's going to cover over the same slot as your boots. You get, like, what did I mention? Windlace. Raindrops are really good. A bracer could be really good. Well, maybe not the bracer. Maybe windrops or windlace or raindrops. Consider those if the lane's a bit rougher. But in this case, you're doing pretty well, so I'll let you have this. I like that you're down here for experience while Wraith King's gone. But keep in mind, it's just you versus these two. I think you're about to die here. I see this guy coming in because he recognizes this is an opportunity. Like, you can hex someone, right? And that might help you get away. You can't shackle someone and get away, right? Because it's channeled. So you're not someone who can escape. So you need to, like, stay hidden further back from the XP. Or further back from these guys. Stay, like, maybe here. This would be in range of XP, just about. And less likely to be seen. Maybe they have a ward here and they'll know. But then if they see you there, you'll know that they have a ward and you can get that D ward. But here should be pretty safe. And then as it pushes, you, like, come around here, come around here. Or you come to, like, this side. Hide over here, hide over here. But being here is, like, very obvious. And I would bet you're about to die. Oh, you even run back. Don't do that. Just, like, get out, you know? You definitely should have been able to get out, but you, like, stuck around. Not sure what was happening there. But yeah, that's positioning. Try to stay back more. In range for XP, because you're actually, like, this is really good. You're about to hit 5 at 6 minutes. That's really ahead of what the norm is. And in fact, let's take a look at this. If you look at their supports, you're pretty ahead. So, well, maybe this guy's also close to 5. Nah, he kind of is. But in a typical game, usually supports are like further behind. And remember, you want 6 as quickly as you can. So this is really good. So you definitely want the experience from this lane. This is the right idea, but like be a little safer. You could be alive this whole time getting all of this XP. And you wouldn't lose any money. You'd be a little closer to arcanes. Wouldn't have had to buy another TP. You don't need to hex there. Especially because you didn't fall up in Shackle. I know Wraith King's about to come in here, but if you weren't planning on immediately shackling as Hex was about to end, then, you know, this, well, 70's not too bad at level 1. But 13-second cooldown, it is 70 mana, you know. If Wraith King comes down and tries to stun this guy now, you know, you're missing a spell. The Ether Shock, that was great, you know. You got some damage in, start that mana regen, but you don't need to throw out the Hex. Be a little, like, safe with when you're using it. Also, this guy was coming in, so you want to position yourself forward a bit. You're like... Here, let's go back in time and see it. Yeah, so there's the Hex, unnecessary. And I think Wraith King's even pinging. He wants to go on this guy, right? So if you don't want to be too obvious, what you can do... See, you're back here hitting creeps. You could hit them from, like, up here, too, right? And you'd be closer to this guy when you ultimately start the fight. And he's got double damage. You know, you want to do this. And so these guys die. You know, like, start walking your way up. Like, being up here and attacking these creeps would be a better position. Because you'd just be closer to the fight. And, like, see, he's even going in and you're still, like, back here.
I guess.
This guy's crit master, though. Doesn't even need you. I think you must have canceled your channeling. I'm not sure what happened there. You definitely should have had that, though. But yeah, the better positioning... If this guy didn't happen to double damage crit that Pangolier, I think Pangolier survives again. But it works out for you guys, I guess. Is this guy gonna die? Be careful of that. I know you want to push, but you are pretty low on mana. And, like, you know this guy's low, right? So you want to be ready to, like, Hex or Shackle or something. But now that you've used this to push creeps, this is an expensive spell at this point. You know, I don't know if you needed to do that. Yeah, imagine if you had, like, followed in with this guy. Well, I don't think you should be diving the tower like that either. But, like, if you hadn't used it on the creeps, you know, hold your hand a bit. Since you know he was low. I don't like this. This is unnecessary. This is only going to show you, like, this lane. Up and down, right? And a bit here and a bit there. You already have one here. This is a lot of overlapping vision. And this vision is what creeps will give you. So this is, like, very unnecessary. And, selfish in a sense, in that it's, like, only helping this bottom lane. And, like, very much so the bottom lane, right? It doesn't even necessarily show people, like, rotating away. It only shows this lane. It doesn't really help out the rest of your team in any way. So I wouldn't use this here. I would just, like, hold on to this. Or, like, place it somewhere, like, further out here. Speed along a bit. At this stage of the game, this is when clarities are a little better, right? When you can have this, like, downtime to use it. Try not to stand, like, amongst the creeps when you want to do this stuff, just because of that kind of, like, efficiency for him. If you guys want to do this, you need to be the one to, like, he was hitting creeps. That's fine. You should be the one to set up by, like, walking this way and going. This is, like, very obvious once he starts running this way when you shouldn't be able to see him. Suddenly just, like, cutting this way while creeps are hitting you is very obvious that you're going for a kill. And that's why he, like, swashbuckles away. You also didn't buy your mana boost, so now you're very low. You're going to have one spell, which would be enough if you can get up to him, but I think he's gone, right? And Weavers here. Get the Hex. Aren't able to get the Shackle because you get killed.
Just what I've been waiting for.
And see, you had the money and now it's lost. So, committing to buying the Arcanes would have been a lot better there. Tell him, like, I don't have enough mana to do this, you know? Wait for me to get these Arcanes and then wrap around. You would have even been able to pull him into a better spot, you know, because the creeps were pushing. Like, the creep wave comes down here, you buy Arcanes and hide here. If he walks in, then you, like, loop around. This is unnecessary, too. You already have the center here. This is a lot of overlapping. That's 75 gold that you're not going to get back, right? Pangolier has almost 1,000 health and 6 armor, and a stout shield. Weaver, 4 armor, only 720 health. I think he's the better target here. Try to keep in mind, try to like always have this idea at any point in the game. In laning phase, you know, pick whoever's the weakest. Still works out for you guys. Somehow you get a kill. Somehow, I say that, but that was because of your sentry, you know. That was good to have this one. But he should have lived. He should have just, like, I don't know what he was doing. He should have just Shikuchi'd backwards like that. But keep in mind, like, who's weaker in lane. Weaver is the target you want here. Not only because he's the offlaner, but because he's easier to kill. In a Hex, Shackle, maybe a stun as well, he can be killed. Pangolier's pretty tanky. He might die, might get away, you know, but Weaver's definitely a kill. Try to keep that in mind. You know, if you're in a lane against, like, Skywrath and Bristleback, that's kind of obvious. You know, Skywrath is much weaker, but always have that idea of, like, okay, I want to go Skywrath. You know, even if Bristleback is in a better position or something, he's very hard to kill. We want the Skywrath. You know, in this case, it's not as obvious, but try to set it ahead of time. You know, as you're in the lane, think, okay, if I get the chance, I want to go on the Weaver. Because he is the better target. But you get a kill either way. Works out. You have Arcane Boots. You really want to buy them. You might have been able to kill that guy if you'd done that one first. But, no big deal. Ulting the tower is really good. This ward is okay. I think, because you get this tower... Let me see. How do I explain this? The reason... I should be on your vision only. Okay. The reason you want this ward when this tower is up is because you can see them, like, TP over here or, like, in the back. Or TP and then, like, walking in to defend this, right? So that's why this is good. Now that you have this tower... Like, no one's TPing here, right? So it's lost some of its value. So I think actually, like, over here would have been better. Or, like, say over here, or maybe, like, even somewhere here. Because it gives, like, deeper vision, and now lets you, like, if it was this one, now if they TP, like, here or here, then you can see it, you can get out faster. So I like the idea of this. This is definitely a much better ward than, like, say, this lane one. But if this tower is gone... then I think you want to move it a bit deeper. Probably sticking around too long when you guys are low, though, against them. But... oh, it's close! Ah, I beat you. That's not really anything you can do about it. You gonna die here? No? Okay. What are you doing here? You're kind of low on mana. I would just leave. I would TP home. Leave Wraith King here alone. You've given him some pretty good vision. Just go home, regen up your health and mana, buy your items, buy some wards, buy a tome if you haven't. I missed if you did or not. Maybe a smoke, and then go top or mid. Remember what I was saying? You just want to, like, ult all the towers. You now have this taken, so there's no real reason for you to be bottom anymore. Yes, you could push T2, but it's a little hard, right? The tier 2 tower is stronger than the tier 1 tower. You're still at level 1 ult. They're more likely to defend this like second tower, so it's much easier to like go get these, and it gives you more control of the map, right? Like even if you get this tower, they can still TP right here, and so it still feels scary to like be in this area. So really letting them keep this tower, like it doesn't change, right? Whether you get this tower or not, you still feel a little scared to come into this area. Whereas if you get this tower or this tower, like this tower is much easier, right? You get this tower, you feel a lot safer to come into this area and to like peek your head in here. Same with this. You get this tower, it feels a lot safer to like cut along this area. You're giving yourself more of the map to play on. So these are more valuable towers to get, and they're like easier to get. If you happen to see like you have a large creep wave here and like everyone's top for whatever reason, sure, go for it. But since you're low, go target those other towers. And right now you're just like sitting here. You don't regen fast. This is gonna take a long time. Several minutes. And in that time, you could literally walk back and walk back out to a lane again in that time. 4 mid, maybe go mid. Or I'm sorry, 4 top, go mid and push that. This is kind of, he just like walked up and hit you. You had a sentry. Try to react a little. I feel bad saying that actually, but yeah, he kind of gets a kill because you don't react fast enough. So I don't. You might have been looking at items at that point, but I don't know what to say there. I don't want to point out mechanical stuff too much because I'm sure you recognize that yourself, and that's something you can work on. So let's focus on like gameplay things. Okay, I like this going mid. That's good. I think you forgot to pick this up while you were there. You can actually ult a little further out, in this case, these guys actually have quite short range. But in a game like, say, Sniper, AA, these guys still too, right? If they want to defend this tower, they can come up to here and start, like, killing these wards. And what do you have to do if you want to defend that? You have to, like, walk all the way up here and, like, kind of scare them back. And maybe it does scare them off, right? But maybe someone else shows up and you get scared. And now you have to walk all the way out through tower range again. Maybe they go on you and get that kill. Whereas if you ult like further back a bit, they can still all hit the tower. And if they want to chip away at the serpent wards from here, then they have to come up to about the tower. And if you want to scare them away from there, you only have to go up to here. And this way, if you decide to back out, it's much less distance for you to like run away. So in this case, when you can't see them as much and you don't have, like, you're not totally sure if you have full control of this tower, I would ult a little further back, be a little safer with it. Yeah, and also see, the creeps are gonna... Creeps kill wards really fast because it just, like, one attack counts as one attack, whether it's a hero or a creep. And so they clear these off pretty quickly. Imagine if you had, I don't like that you necessarily backed away, so let's rewind. So you ult, and you walk away. I think what would be better in this case, it's going to be scary, right? But your catapult's alive, and your wards are alive, but all the creeps have died. You can tank, like, 2 or 3 tower hits and still be decently healthy. You'd probably drop to around here. But it would keep your catapult alive. It would keep these wards alive a little longer. Unfortunately, your creep wave is a little far away. But I think I might sit here and attack this. And or maybe like stand at the edge of tower range and try to keep my catapult and wards alive. Or if nothing else, it kills the catapult, but you can keep your wards alive by aggroing. In this case, it would be scary because you have to walk up to here, aggro them, and walk out, and this would be hitting you all that time. But if you had ulted your serpent, put your ult serpent wards further back here, then these creeps would now be around here. As they walk to get your wards, you're like standing here, you auto attack them, you Q them, they switch to you, you walk out. The tower will have to attack them one at a time, and you might actually get this tower. But they, well, you see how fast they clear it out, right? Imagine if the tower had to do this one at a time. So I think you could push it a little more. This was still like a good decision on your part overall, coming mid and ulting it. I don't want to like I know I'm critiquing you, right? But that was the majority of the right decision for you to make. You know, if I had to give you points, I would give you like 80%. And like ulting a bit further back, that's like another 5%. You know, and aggroing the creeps away like another 10%. That kind of thing. So you have the right idea, but you can push it a little more. I'm not sure what you're doing here. If you're thinking about what to buy, that's fine. But like stack a camp while you're doing it. Try to be mindful of that stuff. Not a big deal. But there's also no... Well, to defend this guy, okay, sure. But remember, there's like no tower here, right? You don't really want to come bottom anymore. But trying to help this guy out. Oh, a little miscommunication there. Maybe you guys can kill this guy if you shackle and hex. Or hex and shackle, and then he stuns. Not a big deal. You kept him alive. That's pretty good. This is a team mistake, though. See, everyone's down here. What do you... Like, the tower's gone, right? And yes, you could all get this T2 tower. But like I said earlier, there's not... Like, these are better. So it's not necessarily your job, but you can make that call. Like, hey guys, my ult will be up in 30 seconds. Can we, like, go push mid or go top? I get this. Okay. If you're gonna do it, you gotta do it. You know, commit. If you're gonna spend the mana and cooldown to hex, shackle. And, I mean, your teammates are coming. It's a little far, but, you know, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it. And if you're not gonna do it, then don't do it. It's okay. I don't think you need to spend the mana, though, to do that. Okay. Let's finish out this fight before I say anything. Okay, and he just leaves. That was pretty good overall for you. Shackled the right target, I think. I think TA was the correct one. Note that your Hex was on cooldown for that fight. Actually, was it? Or did it, did you already use it? I missed that. Oh no, okay, it was up. So who'd you Hex? Oh, you Hexed TA first. Okay, I see. And then... try to chain your stuff if you're gonna do it. In that case, it worked out. It's not a big deal. But I feel like later in the game, like, you know, she might have gotten a spell off. She had Refraction. She didn't use it. Maybe it was on cooldown. I don't know. But, like, you don't want to let her get off those spells. So, like, Hex and then Shackle before she can do anything. But that was the right target to get, I think. And I like that you don't use your ult. I don't know if it's because you were confident, but generally you want to use your ult on the towers and not in team fights if you can help it. Because it's very easy for people to just walk away and then you've just wasted your ult. You know? So it's better to, like, kind of lose a fight. I don't necessarily say that. But it's hard to win a fight because of good wards. You want to use them to, like, block a choke point maybe in a fight? Go ahead. But don't use them for damage. And you didn't, you know, so that was good. How do I feel about this? See if you get the kill. You do kill her. Does happen to go on these guys. And by coincidence, you can farm these ancients. I don't know if you had that planned. but I will allow it this time. That was pretty good. You did trap her. You now can farm these. They came in, got some damage. So in that case, it kind of worked out for you. I don't know if you thought it that far, but if you did, good work. Aether. Aether's a decent choice. These guys might get blinks. You know, they can be kind of the initiators a bit. Yeah, you are getting it next. See, the reason I'm kind of like hesitant on Aether is because, one, the arcane boots are pretty good early, but two, like you have some pretty mobile guys. You know, Juggernaut spin. This guy alts Qs. This guy Shikuchi's alts. She's got like invis, refraction, blinks, fears, everything. You know, having that instant disable is pretty important this game. And none of these guys, well, if he blinks and W's, that's a pretty much instant. But his stun has a travel time. These guys don't even have stuns, you know. So your blink hex is kind of important because that's the fastest disable. But Aether is pretty good, and you can let them go in and follow up. So it's okay. I think both are pretty good. I might put this at like 60%, 40%. Especially because you were doing pretty well this game. You had a lot of gold. So I feel like you could have rushed for the blink. You've come bottom again. There's still nothing bottom. It's like a lot of time in the bottom lane, and like, what have you achieved? Like, I know you guys have won fights and stuff, and it's been like feels good, getting items, getting gold, but like, look at the map. Nothing has changed, and this is Defense of the Ancient, right? This is the Ancient. Sure, they've lost fights. They haven't lost any buildings. And that's why, like, you don't want to really be down here. Because there's nothing for you to get. You want to get these. You are getting some solo experience, which is kind of nice. But, like, I really feel like you should go top or mid with your team, not solo. Bring your team with you.
Stay healthy, stay moving. Radiant structures are
It's okay, I guess. Again, because the creeps are just gonna go through there naturally, I don't feel it's strictly necessary. Okay, all of you are top now. Let's see what happens. Okay, you're pinging it, pinging your ult. Okay. You don't want to be the guy in the front. You're a little hesitant. Yeah, these guys walk away. It's not good on their part. Especially because you did ping it. I don't know what was said after that. I'm not looking at team chat. See, I like this ward because it lets you see the back. But you guys are up here kind of alone. I think you made the right call. But if your team doesn't follow through... like, it's better to do something suboptimal if all of you are doing it than it is to do the optimal play, but if it's done incorrectly, it's not optimal. And these guys leaving, you know, you two are alone. You've put this back here, but this is like a scary push for you guys since you don't have like more wards. You only know where this guy is, and now you know this guy's here. I don't really like this ult. It's sort of near the tower, yeah, but they're like mostly out of range, and I think you guys were like definitely dead there. Now, maybe you only saw the Weaver at that point and thought you could get the kill, but like if you do get that kill with the ult, right? The ult's not in range for the tower, and then I don't know if you guys get the tower. But everyone did end up showing, so I don't think that's a great. Panic ulting is never ideal. You want it to be your decision to ult. This sentry's kind of unnecessary. It's like just random, I guess. This ward's like okay. So in this case, because Weaver's here, Like, what am I trying to say here? Multiple things. If Weaver had vision of you, do you think he would just be like walking this way? He would be like going for you, you know? So I think that kind of reveals that there isn't a ward here. Or if he did see you when he was here, I don't think he would walk up here because like maybe you have someone behind you. Maybe he would be like more careful of like just walking this way. So I would use that as a hint to say like I don't think they have vision up here. But the other thing I want to say, which you shouldn't necessarily do in this case, is that imagine these are like circles up here because they are. If you place the ward towards the top of this circle or at the bottom of this circle and then place a sentry somewhere in between in this area, you'll see both high grounds with that one sentry. That can save you some gold and let you check both high grounds. And it's also more effective for like spotting TA traps and Weaver, because like how often are they going to be like Shikuchiing back here, you know? Or like they can't be in these trees. So if the sentry's over here, you get like better coverage, like better value for this gold. And this is like random, right? There's no more tower here. A fight's not going to break out. I mean, maybe it does, but if it does, you can drop it then. Save your gold, right? That's 75 gold. Could be at 1,000. Making your way up. Small increments. If I wasn't clear on this warding thing, I have another video on it to demonstrate it. Although actually I say that video is like kind of cringy. I was goofing off on it, so maybe don't watch it. That ward's alright, but a bit overlapping with this one. Like they're covering the same idea, right? Or are they gonna gank my Wraith King who's farming here? You would see them like walking through here. And it's kind of unnecessary to see them like walking through here again. But it's not the worst. It's okay. Stacking maybe? Oh, the creeps are dead here. In this case, like I would try to stack a camp closer to the runes. But since he's like farming it, I would just like come over and like be here ahead of time. You don't want it? You should take that. You're a great invis carrier. Like pop out of invis, hex shackle this guy. He's never gonna react in time. Who is gonna react in time to an instant hex out of invis? No one. So like go stand next to him, sap XP from what he's farming, tell Wraith King, hey, walk over. As soon as Wraith King gets within vision of Weaver, that's where you hex, and then you shackle, and by that time Wraith King covers the distance. This one might not be the best because it's kind of by the shrine. It's a little scary to do, maybe if someone else also comes in. But you can still get the invis, sap the XP, go search for someone over here, that kind of thing. This is scary coming up here alone. Once that guy's dead, you want to just get out. Consider just TPing out. Are you gonna die here? I think so. Nah, you don't want to do this. He happens to ult directly back in, trapping himself, except that he can Shikuchi out. But once you see this guy is dead, your position's a little scary. I don't know if you knew Weaver was back here, but either hide in the trees. Let me free cam it. I need to see if there's a hotkey for this to switch free cam immediately. But like either like hug the trees and TP out, walk into Roshan, TP out, because you don't have a tower like either of these places, so you have to walk pretty far to get back into safety. I might have also walked back, but I wouldn't go this way actually. I would have like cut into here. Cutting into here is a lot safer for you than like walking all the way around here. So like come into here if you're gonna try to walk back. I don't think you needed to buy back. Maybe you panic did that because it looked like a lot of people and maybe you could fight it. But that's kind of unnecessary. Lost gold doing that. And like this guy's down there. Yeah, you ping him because you can see that he's not there. You don't want to be in. Ultimately not the worst death for you. You might have been like pinging that guy. I don't know if you were flaming him. Try to focus on like more of the game rather than flaming. Like you're kind of right. He should be with you guys right now, but like you need to see what's going on in the fight, even though you don't have buyback now in this case. But you need to be like taking a look. Sorry, he's just spinning and making a bunch of noise during the replay. How are you guys getting kills in like a 3v5? Ah, the ward. Somehow you guys wipe him. Well, you guys are ahead, so I'm not too surprised. But instead of like taking a look at him, like take a look at the fight. Don't spend so much time like here. Maybe you were typing, I don't know, but like
Nothing good happens
less time.
against
Like
power.
if you're typing, you're not playing. Is what I usually try to say. So whatever you happen to be doing there, I don't know, but try to like keep an eye on the fight. Even if you can't participate, you can point out to your team, get the healing ward, or like focus this guy, or like Pango's coming in, that kind of thing. I don't know how that worked out for you guys though. It really shouldn't have. Dewarding, good stuff. God, this video's at an hour already. I always try to make it shorter and it never works. Getting kills, okay. Someone else wants to come in and die. Sure. What happened there? Did you cancel that? Maybe that's a bug. This is unnecessary. Like look how low the tower is already. You guys just wiped them here, just killed 2, got a 3rd pick off. All of you are here, 5 of you are here. This tower is dead for sure. You don't need to do this. Save it for tier 2. And honestly, you guys have 30 seconds, 20 seconds with all 5 of you. Dragon Knight could ult, and with all these skeletons, I think you guys can get the tier 2 without your ult even. But definitely don't use it on the tier 1. Probably use it on this tier 2. But maybe if you guys were really pushing it, you could get this tier 2, push it to the high ground, you ult, only let your ult hit the tower, and then all back away. Even if you guys chip like 500 damage, 300 damage on the high ground, that's pretty good. But that'd be a tough call to make. In my games, I might have just ulted the T2 as well, but definitely not the T1. So make sure the tower's like, you know, consider it, whether it's worth ulting the tower. That is what you want to ult, but you know, if it's dead, it's dead. Speed up a bit.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Okay, you want to get to the blink because you're close. Okay, you got it now. I don't love this. Again, same reason as before. And now you have like a second one there. So it's like very overlapping vision. It's okay.
I'd say wicked sick.
But if you place it like a bit more to the side, like over here, you would at least see the rune, you know? If you saw the rune, then I'd be okay with this ward. But then not placing one up there, I would place this one like further up. So like shift these. Like put this one here and this one like here or here. Or leave this one and shift this one like, if you really want to place it here, like put it in further, closer to the tower or something, where it's less likely for your creeps to be and for you to get more vision there. Because a lot of times what people will do is like smoke under their towers, right? So that's better. In this case, you still wouldn't see the tower.
I'll take that as tribute.
TP. And this is like extra unnecessary, right? Why do you need to see this much of the mid lane?
Did Radiant's bottom
Wards are
tower
limited. You do need to be like careful of where you put them. Consider what your objectives are and where you're trying to play. You wanted this mid tower, so like you need wards to like either here get a pick off, here get a pick off, or like here so that you can see when they're coming to defend and you can be careful or react. But like this doesn't do anything for you. Neither this one doesn't really do much. I don't know. They don't have the most magic damage. I don't know if I like this Glimmer. I know you can do it while you shackling, and that feels a little safer. But, I don't know. They're like a mostly physical lineup. I think something like a Ghost Scepter would be better. You can Ghost Scepter while you shackle, and that way TA can't get you. You can use it when Juggernaut ults you. I think I would like that a lot more. Maybe a Force Staff to get away. Or maybe just go for the Ags, honestly. Glimmer's okay. Don't love it. Getting kills, though.
A scan from Radiant.
I might turn this into a Tranquil Boots as well. Before getting the Glimmer, at least. Gives you some health regen, and then between Aether and Glimmer, you definitely like never need to go back to base. Gives you a little more move speed, which is nice to run around. This guy's kind of like soloing this. You guys kind of want to help him out. This is kind of scary, leaving him alone. I would try to be closer a bit, help him out. This looks good. You know, I've only been reviewing losing games. Are you guys going to win this one? Because it looks like you will. This is too deep. This is awkward. Because this guy's still doing Roshan. You definitely don't need to buy back. You want to, like, just be as a team right now, because you're in the lead. You just want to push up to towers, drop your ult. So you don't need to, like, be looking for a pick-off with just 3 people that deep. If you want to look for a pick-off, do it with more people, or do it, like, further out. But it doesn't need to be that far. And especially because you have one guy, Roshan, killing Roshan, like, have your team help him out. Roshan's a really good objective to get. What do you want, dog? My dog is here. Be quiet. Try auto-attacking the creeps a little bit, and then using the Ether Shock to, like, get the final last hit on all of them. Like, set them up for the Q, and then do it. It's a little more likely you'll get the last hits that way. Because this is, like, 320 on all those creeps at once. As opposed to, like, doing that, and then trying to last hit while the creeps are hitting it. Makes it a bit easier for you. Your team's still trying to do, like, pickoffs and being split up. If you lose, that's how you're gonna lose. Especially if you, since you bought back, if you get killed, like, you're dead for so long. And you're a big part of the defense. You've got a blink. You're a lot of the disable on this team. Don't let anyone fool you into thinking supports aren't significant. Nah, this is scary, guys. I don't know how I feel about this. Your bounty hunter's dead. It's working out, I guess. I don't love it, though. Get up and ult that tower, I think. Since you're pushed this far, go and drop it. I know you're a little scared, but, like, if you're gonna be this far, just kind of go for it. And also, if you need the sentries or dust for this game, I know you're buying them, but you're, like, placing them, and then you don't have them for team fights. You need them for the, like, Weaver and TA. Somehow this is working out for you guys. Somehow being you have a 8k lead. But I wouldn't say this play is necessarily, like, how it should be done. You only need to buy 1 dust. Or, like, it comes in sets of 2. But, like, you'd have your Glimmer Cape if you didn't buy this other second dust. So trying to, like... It's like the opposite of cutting corners. But, you want to buy the least amount of consumables at a time that you have to. And that way you can spend your gold on something else. Okay, this is okay. It works out in the fight. But, if you want a ward, swap it in with your magic wand or something. This is like half your net worth. You want to keep that in. Even the cloak would be decent. Looks like you guys can win here.
Dyer's bottom
Alt the racks. Actually, these racks are dead. Alt another set of racks. Go bottom. Go top. Did you debate me? Are you gonna win this game? Actually, you didn't say anything. You just said to like review your gameplay. You don't have any creeps tanking them. They're just gonna die. I mean, I guess like you're gonna win, but I would wait at least for the creeps to come up. You know, help yourself push. Oh, this guy could be Ags. It's huge. Nice. All right, you guys win. But I'm sure you saw. If you watch the whole thing, you know, I pointed out enough stuff that you can improve on that I think is significant. Even though it had ended up in a victory. That's why usually I like doing losing games. I think there's like a little more to learn from them. But in this case, there was still a lot you could learn. So, it's fine. Let's take a look at stats a bit and then close out this video. Just a bit past an hour. Man, one day I'll learn. The reason I can't make... Is this going to load? The reason I'm struggling to making shorter videos is because... what's happening here? My computer's like slowing down. And editing is hard, so it's harder to make like these condensed edited videos. So I just like ramble my way through them. Alright. Taking a look at stats. Is there that much to look at though? See, you bought a good amount of like sentries. The dust was at the very end though. Try to have that earlier. This would be one of the like first items I buy after brown boots, because you were getting kills on Weaver. I would be carrying dust for that. Sentries are okay, but then definitely in the mid game you want some dust. You had the empty slots, and like you were buying sentries. This is a good amount of sentries, but I didn't really feel their effect in team fights. You were using them to mostly check for wards, I guess. But there were definitely a couple that I remember being really awkward, you know? And that could be gold save to buy your blink sooner, buy your glimmer sooner, buying them before you die and lose money, you know? And definitely try to like hold on to one for team fights. Because this is a good amount of money spent, but I didn't feel like they were effectively used. So if you are going to spend your money on something, you try to get the most out of it, right? Skill build. Think this was fine. Yeah. I might have left. You like swapped to Hex halfway through. Kind of okay. They didn't have that many ways to quickly cancel your shackle though. Only these two guys can really do it. So I might have maxed out shackle. Maybe get Hex to level 2 and then max shackle. Because shackle you get a lower cooldown, but Hex like stays the same. And although Hex increases by 0.75, shackles is also by 0.75 and less cooldown. So I might have maxed shackles before Hex, because you really just need that instant Hex blink. So a level 1 Hex is okay, and you just need it so that you can get your shackles off. So yeah, but it's not that bad, not a big deal. And the rest is fine. Take a look at the graph. Somehow you were the least rich person on your team, even though you were like, I felt you were doing really well. I mean, you were a solo support, so that's kind of why, but how much money did you lose to dying, actually? Because you did die kind of a lot, and then you bought back a couple times, which I felt was unnecessary. Only 1,000. Thought it would have been more. This is kind of a high amount of deaths for the game, though, since I felt you guys were kind of in the lead for it. 2 and 21, pretty good, though. A lot of assists. That should show that you're like a significant part of the team fights, being crowd control. But a couple out of position deaths, so this could be lower. This could be like 6 to 8, I think. There's at least a couple I can think of, which was just like awkward positioning on your part. And if you lose less gold, you could buy stuff sooner. You know, if you're not dead, you can achieve more. Um, so if I had to summarize a couple small things for you to work on, it would be early staging things. Buy mangoes instead of clarities. Don't block that first wave, and cut that tree. Try to keep your positioning in mind, and besides that, it wasn't too bad. Nothing too huge mistake wise. A lot of optimizations that you could do, and besides that, I thought it was pretty solid overall. Most of your alts were on towers. Um, good hexes, good shackles, good stuff. Woo! All right, that's it for this one. Still kind of long, but they'll all be like that. One day I'll just like learn to accept that. All right, thanks for watching. Hope that helped.